So thank you for being here. I'm NEILD JULL, that guy, the old guy. I'm from Hollywood. I'm a producer. So I'll start by introducing myself, and then you guys can do the same. I think that's what the moderators do, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Rock and roll.
So I'm a film producer. I've done the last 3 Martin Scorsese movies. The Irishman was the last one. I'm doing Killers of the Flower Moon with a young up-and-coming actor called Leonardo DiCaprio. He might make it one day, who knows? I've done a movie called Silence with Liam Neeson and Andrew Garfield. I'm currently working on the Enzo Ferrari biopic with Adam Driver and with Penelope Cruz. So as such, I'm an independent movie producer, and as such, I spend 90% of my time chasing money. If anyone has any extra, just leave them in a bucket in front of the stage and I'll pick them up. But all joking aside, 7-8 months ago, I had no idea what NFTs were. I am old, and it's not my world. And I have 3 teenage children that taught me what it is. I thought NFT was a football club in Germany, NFT Stuttgart or NFT Munich. But when I started learning about what it really is and the communities that are around this incredible group of artists and musicians and documentary filmmakers and such, I started thinking, hey, what we do in Hollywood as well is we try to build bridges between creatives, meaning filmmakers, directors, producers, writers, and an engaged community. And unfortunately, in the last many, many years, in Hollywood, it's driven by almost everything else, by, excuse my language, fucking algorithms. And I'm very tired of algorithms running the world. And as a producer, nothing new comes out of algorithms. And the algorithms today in the movie world only want to do Marvel movies and big blockbuster things. And so as an independent producer, trying to do quality material from quality filmmakers, the landscape is getting very, very difficult from a financial aspect. So great movies in the past, like say The Usual Suspect or The Big Lebowski, today would have a very hard time getting made, because simply it doesn't fit into the algorithms of what makes money. The sad part about it, that leaves a lot of material out there unmade, unproduced. So when my friends here in London, actually, Huey and Jonathan, introduced this NFT concept to me, we thought, hey, here's an opportunity to create a whole new financing model for content creation, for filmmaking. And so over the last 8 months, we've developed a blueprint and a white paper for how do we bridge these 2 communities. The communities of NFTs, the Web3, with, when I say Hollywood, I mean, I'm in Hollywood, we have filmmakers we work with in London, and narrow the gap. And that's become a very exciting project that has attracted now a lot of both filmmakers, but people within the NFT community. So we have NFT studios. We started that out now with our first movie. We have 1 movie ready to go. It's a $10 million budget that's going to shoot in Malta and London in July. We have our head cast, our script done, everything, and it's going to be a first of its kind. And using that and the royalties from that, we're going to roll that into a proper studio within a DAO that is going to run a mini studio in the Web3 space through our connections in Hollywood with filmmakers and the communities we're building around our first drop. That's as short as I can do it. I'm sorry, guys. I hogged the microphone. I really do apologize. And now I'd like to introduce my 2 co-panelists. Victor, yes. From Brazil.
From Brazil.
Documentary filmmaker.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah, my name is Vitor. I'm co-founder of METACITZN. I'm originally from Rio, Brazil, but I've been living in the UK for the past 15 years. We set up a project called METACITZN where we tell metaverse stories. We are media production, the first decentralized media production collective where our holders, they collaborate in our productions. So we have 1 documentary coming up to premiere in New York in June during NFT New York called Not a JPEG. And this is a documentary about NFT and communities. And we have quite a few collections on it, including Cool Cats, Gutter Cats, Bored Ape, we have World of Women. We have quite a lot of big names from the NFT space in this documentary. If you want to see the trailer, you go to our Twitter, and it's the first tweet in there. It's quite interesting because we managed to get over 60 interviews from the space, and we are building 2 documentaries. And our main goal is to build, if you guys watch the Ready Player One, is to build the Holiday Journals archive of the metaverse. So our documentaries are telling the story of people building the Web3 at the moment. So we're pretty excited about the future of the Web3, and we know it's still very early. So we are making sure we tell the right stories to the media and to everybody else. So we have a project, and our holders, they collaborate in making these productions. So pretty exciting stuff, pretty good way.
So you operate and work as a producer-director?
Yeah, I've been working as producer-director with a team. You know, I have some team from the US, some part of the team is from the UK. And yeah, we've been filming here and there. We've been into the main events. We also created one experience with an artist called Gangian from Ghosts. I don't know if you heard of him. So we presented this, we call it the Ghosts Experience, and we presented last November during the first NFT New York, and we're going to present it again in June. It's like a 4-wall projection telling the story of Gangian and how he created Ghosts. You know, he's one of the biggest NFT artists at the moment, so it's another thing we do as well. So we tell stories from artists and NFT collections and communities in different ways. So, yeah.
Very interesting. Now, Alexander, why don't you talk about yourself and what you're doing in your projects to this lovely audience?
Good. So nice to see everybody. So yeah, that's me, Alexander Marte, and I have this, I think it's not too echoey. So some of you guys might know Arabian Camels, which dropped just after Bored Apes last year. And we got off to a really sort of lucky start because the market wasn't so sort of saturated as it is now in terms of competition for space. And I saw it as an opportunity to build an audience for the IP which I was creating, which is the IP of Antara, which is it's a $45 million epic to be directed by Tarsem Singh. He directed Immortals 2011, $260 million box office, a fantastic film. And we put this epic of Antara together with the professors of Arabic literature from Oxford, Cambridge, Yale, SOAS. It's like a Troy Gladiator style epic, which I think we're long overdue, a good epic since 2004, And the idea behind the Antara movie NFT, which is sort of the second phase of Arabian Camels, is that the people who own the Antara movie NFT own the IP of the film, which puts them in the firing line for box office and streaming revenues, without it being a security in the sense that we're not saying here's a share of the movie. If you own the IP, it means you're due any fees with respect to licensing and things like that. So it's a little bit positioned well in that respect. So the whole idea and the utility behind our project is that if you own the NFT, the utility is you can get a part in the movie, you can get producer credit, you can come out on set in the desert, you meet with cast and crew, and just, I suppose, get exposure to the whole, the fun and the magic behind the movie business, which is a very closed sort of, most people have never been on set, and so it's a kind of a little bit of a hub for people who want to get to know a little bit more about producing, what's involved, and things like that. So we're going to drop, we did a little sort of pre-sale session about 7-8 weeks ago, like sort of $500,000, less than $500,000, and we're doing the new drop now. The cool thing about what we've done is we've partnered up with a gallery called Quantus Gallery. Some people might know it. It's Europe's first sort of, they do physical NFTs as well as digital. So the collector can buy the NFT, have it in a nice, chic glass frame, sort of 1 meter by 1 meter. So the idea is whoever owns this NFT of the movie, they can have it on their wall as well in their office or on their mantelpiece, and it allows us to sort of break into the art world as well. So, so that's what we're doing, and then of course on the Arabian Camel side, it's more about branding and merchandising. We've got a merch store popping up. We've sent our flag off to Mount Everest on Monday. Okay. So hopefully, if nobody else beats us to it, we'll be the first NFT community to have our flag pitched on Mount Everest, whatever that means. But it
means a lot.
It's fun, yeah. And just in terms of the culture of what we're doing as a community, as a brand, for our 1-year anniversary, we should be crossing the empty quarter between Oman and Abu Dhabi through the desert on camelback. 10 of our community it's on camelback. It's going to be hot and no complaining. So yeah, 10 of our community will be able to do that. And we're also doing an Atlantic crossing as well. Again, 10 of our community. And this is by NFTs. So whoever owns the NFT, you know, that's basically their ticket to crossing. It's all paid for, their hotel, their flight, their everything. So yeah, crossing the empty quarter, crossing the Atlantic, Mount Everest. Other initiatives we're doing, like to save a life, fractionalized ownership of an NFT. All the money goes to buy an organ or a kidney. So rather than just 10xing, it's a bit more about what can we do with these numbers that we generate as a community, and that's in essence what we're all about.
So your main thing is building communities as well, isn't it?
It's a bit of everything. I mean, that's the value in an NFT community is this power in numbers, and you know, I think as the NFT market matures, people will be a little bit more mature on what they can achieve when they come together, and it's not about just when moon or you know, when pump. It's, you know, there's actually a lot of intelligence can be pumped into the NFT space, which I'm looking forward to. I mean, my background is equities. I was in the City of London. I did my level 4s, and I was in wealth management. And you learn obviously a lot about the stock market. And I think what's going to happen in the NFT space is it's going to become a little bit like the stock market, of course, which it is already. But it's about how can we get to the closest point to where it's a security but not a security, and we can be multidimensional in our interaction. So it's an interesting space.
I think you're touching on something very exciting there, and particularly someone like yourself who has gone the tradition from traditional stock market into this space. What I found as well is that the creativity ranks higher here, and you don't value things the same way like you do on a spreadsheet. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you can be creative and do these amazing things and build communities around projects that has a resonance in communities and is linked to art. And I think that's the game changer. And I think for a lot of people, my kids especially, are like, we want relevance. Yeah. We want something we can relate to now, whether that's a Gotter cat or a Bored Ape or a camel, you know, and give us an experience. Make us part of a community. Don't you find that when the people you interview and talk to, aren't they mainly coming from the place of art first? And then, you know, I mean, or what is your feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are two main components there. I think it's art and community, really. I don't see any project now going up unless it's manipulated by whales.
There you go.
Without a strong community, really. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, and you touched on it a little bit, we've had to deal with, of course, is the Security and Exchange Commission. I mean, there's just no way around it. We went out and we announced and talked about the fact that we would fund movies through NFTs. And we got a 100-page letter from the SEC immediately. And we've had to hire Shepard Mullen, the biggest law firm in New York that handles that. And we've had to learn the hard way that this is a regulated commodity if you talk investment, right? If you use that word, you're not allowed to have any US investor whatsoever coming near your movie because it's treated as a share. So it's stuff that has to be taken seriously. And people like yourself with your background, and I have a background in fashion and run tons of companies in the past, you just know that you have to take that seriously, but it shouldn't hinder us from using our creativity to build that community and say, what's the value here of having an engaged community and bridging filmmakers with quote-unquote money? Okay, but what's money? There's a whole bunch of people out there. And if I have 10,000 investors in our movie, sorry, I didn't say investors.
Yeah,
I didn't say that.
Collectors.
I didn't say that, SEC, if you're here. I didn't say investors. I say finesters. And that's Swedish for windows. What the fuck? No, anyway. Sorry. But isn't that true? I mean, don't you find that? And has it not been, I'm just curious to ask you personally, has it been an interesting transition from the city to this? Yeah,
I mean, it's you have to be sort of you know, to the hills with disclaimers and say this is not an investment. And we all know that when people buy NFTs, most of the time it's because they are speculating and they want to make money.
Sure.
So you know, so at the same time, and that's why I mean the interesting. I think the peak of maturity for the NFT space is where it gets to just below the line of security, and that sweet spot. You know what I mean?
Spot on.
Yeah.
You're spot on. That's what we're thinking. Huey, my partner, and the rest of them as well, they are, you know, much more experienced in this
And the
space than I
SEC
am.
knows that as well. And,
There you go, exactly. Oh, they do. But they're also a little bit lost, to be honest. We talked to their head people at the SEC, and they're like, you know, the governments haven't caught up yet, right? So everybody knows this is a bit of a Wild West. I mean, when Huey, my partner, said to me, Niels, we got to get you a cat. I said, what? What cat? And no, you got to have a gutter cat. I'm like, wait a minute. No, I have a cat at home. His name is Hugo, my daughter's cat. No, he said, no, pick a cat. And I picked, and I hadn't looked at it. And he said, Niels, the cat you picked is $79,000. I said, damn, that's an expensive cat, isn't it? Wow. But, you know, yeah, I get it. I mean, I can understand the SEC going, hey, wait a minute, people are trading $79,000 cats. What's going on here? But the fact is, governments haven't picked up on it yet because they haven't started regulating it or telling the SEC what to do, right? So, okay, so when is your movie done? When can we go see it?
In New York in June.
Excellent.
NFT New York.
NFT New York, that's a plug.
Yeah, get to our Twitter and then we're going to putting announcements on details of where you can watch it.
Good.
So we expect everybody to be there.
Because now we're doing plugs, you see. NFT Studios, go on our website, nftstudio.dev, and have a look at what we're doing. We're building communities, and we're also on the Discord, which I know what is now. Awesome. Twitter Spaces, I know what that is. I'm on Facebook. Go ahead and laugh. It's called Facebook. It's in the World Wide Web. Anyway, and yourself, your next project, what's happening?
So we're scheduled to shoot October because it's in the desert and it's too hot, obviously, before that, between sort of May and summer months. And all of our script is done, schedule, all of our producers in place. My producer, Stuart Sutherland, he just finished Kandahar with Gerard Butler. You probably know some of the team on that. He just finished that shoot like 3 weeks ago. He came back, he was in his office, and he was saying, oh yeah, I'm just getting rid of all the costumes. I'm like, don't throw away Gerard Butler's jacket, we can NFT it. And he's like, what are you talking about? But Tarek Ben Ammar is, he just financed House of Gucci.
Love it. Yeah, I know him well.
He did the biggest sort of Middle Eastern production with Antonio Banderas, Day of the Falcon. 60 million, he financed that and produced it. So a good team, and then I'd advise everybody to watch our sizzle reel. We might get a chance to put it on here later. It's done by Mark Fusco, who was the right-hand man of Steven Spielberg for 15 years. Awesome
Amazing
guy.
team.
But yeah. So good team. I mean, I'm not the most experienced in terms of production, but I know how to put a team together. And and then Tarsum to direct. So once we've done our drop 15th, we've split. We've got a Cross Tower. Cross Tower is there he is.
The moderator. What the hell, man? I've been moderating the shit out of this. Welcome from the train, man. Should we say welcome to our moderator who was stuck in the train?
That's an interesting position. I'm not moderating, but I will be a moderator today, if you want. No, continue. I know you guys are talking about something at the moment.
You just got here, so now I'm going to introduce you. Hang on. AKEEM. This is AKEEM. Tell everything about you, AKEEM, and what you're doing, and other than getting stuck on trains.
Yeah, stuck on trains. Came back from Paris yesterday and got stuck on a train from Stevenage today, which was not exciting. For myself, my name's AKEEM. I'm not a cartoon figure like the above. But I run a company called Script Network. We kind of deal with the last mile in terms of video and Web3. So we're a live television experience, where we acquire content. We look at content from whether it's old-fashioned studios, whether it's content that's built on blockchain or content that's being funded through NFTs. And we put them on the platform and ultimately have created a reward protocol whereby every single person who watches content within 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute if you're new to Web3, can go on our website and start earning tokens, rewards, etc., just from watching TV. So really, really simple. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome.
I actually do have my own mic somewhere, but I'm not sure where it is. But yeah, I'll give it back to you.
I'm a great mic sharer. Really nice. I feel we should just open, if there's 1 more minute or whatever, open it to questions, right? Because I'm sick of moderating, actually.
We're both doing the job. What? Why are we both doing the job?
Yeah, I
Do you
don't
want
know. Because we get paid extra. Right?
You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have told anyone. But yeah, it would be great to ask some questions. I think film and content in Web3 is, I don't want to say new, but it's, you know, we've gone through a process, right? We've gone through collectibles, we've gone from, you know, what we know of today, 10,000, 8,000, 15,000 collectibles through NFTs, and we've now seen music NFTs that came, obviously been around for a couple of years, but there's a few that's leading the way. And then we've got NFTs that, or films that are funded through NFTs, or TV shows that are funded through NFTs, but it's kind of a developing market. It's something that's quite new to a lot of people. A lot of people are not too much aware, so it'd be great if anyone had any questions in regards to like how they think, you know, Web3 is really, or decentralization is so important to this industry. But, you know, we're super excited for different reasons, you know, whether you're fixing the storage issue, which is a massive problem in film and content, or you're fixing the distribution issue, which is what we're fixing, or you're fixing the creative issue, which is obviously what we've been talking about for quite some time. So, yeah, this is super exciting, and it'll be great to hear what some people think about the industry.
Great stuff. Any questions? There's a hand down there in the middle.
Was it going down there?
Can we hear you? Can you yell it out? Stand up and yell it out.
Was it going down there?
Hey, okay, cool. So this is for AKEEM. Do you like tangibly feel the leverage you have in the Web3 space because of the CryptoPunk you own, i.e. in terms of being able to work with different people, jump on projects? Do you feel that having a punk is a gateway to, I guess, you know, building in the space?
Maybe yes. I mean, well, no, yes and no. I think that's how it used to be. I mean, I'm not an OG punk owner, but I've owned it. I've owned a punk for probably just under 2 years. So, you know, I think the way the Web3 and NFT space saw CryptoPunk owners is different to now. Same as owning tier 1 art block projects or Bored Apes. I think it's just different to 2022, talking now to what it was a year ago. But yeah, I mean, you get access to communities, but I think there's great communities everywhere. I think that was a problem with a misconception in the space that, you know, the alpha or the great people were only in one place. You know, you had to own a Fidenza, you had to own a great art blocks project, or you have to buy a certain pass and be part of a particular type of club. But actually, you know, I've been in Discords that has 50 people in it with no project, and you meet great people. So I don't think that's the case anymore, but I do think it's important that, you know, you kind of blend yourself in communities that actually could have benefit. You know, look, people join this space for different reasons, and I think one of the things that people forget is so great about Web3 is the way that we can all build together. We could create a conversation right now, you know, after we come off stage, and literally go from creating a film to distributing it, not just on our platform, but to multiple huge providers and platforms around the world. And we can do that alongside developers that could happily become and join our project. You can't do that, you know, in any other space. So I think access is certainly something. Of course, that's something that you get if you own a certain, you know, product. But essentially, I think, you know, 2022, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think you can find great people. You don't even need to be on Discord. You can be on Twitter and just find the right people. Does that answer your question?
Well, fascinating talk. Thank you very much, all the panelists. Much more interesting than crypto finance. My question to Neil and Alexander: do you have a plan to turn the props and the costumes in the filmmaking into NFT? That's a real world object in the filmmaking, turn into NFT. Then you can just give it to the community or sell it, whatever you do. Do you have a plan?
Of course, yeah. Go for it if you want.
Yeah, we have that. We are actually already, our movie is called A Wing and a Prayer, and it is about a guy that flew around the world in a bathtub with wings, essentially. It's a really beautiful story, true story. And so, it is true story, what are you laughing at? But yeah, his name was Brian Milton, and he did it in 1998, the height of the Spice Girl, Tony Blair era, which I just love. It's just so ridiculous and funny. And we are building a microlight, rebuild a microlight, and we're putting it out there in 3D models, etc. So a lot of the art within the movie, not only within the movie, is going to be auctioned off, but also things in the movie. And one little funny thing, I'm just going to say that to this crowd, don't tell anyone, okay? So now that I'm a gutter cat, I talked to the gutter cat owner the other day, and I said, hey, you know what, I'm going to put a gutter cat in the movie, and nobody's going to know where it is. And there's going to be a picture hanging on a wall in the Reform Club where a lot of this takes place, and there's Napoleon, and there's Churchill, and there's a cat, a gutter cat, hanging there. You've got to spot it and find it. And then we take and freeze that image and we sell that. Stuff like that. It's fun, right? It's just fun. Communities we can build across the art forms and, you know, just have a little fun with it and expand their possibilities, obviously not just for money, but cross communities. And the other thing I just want to say to the last question there and what you said about Discord, it doesn't matter whether you have 50 or 500, it's who. And on our Discord channel now, I think we're up to like 700 or something. People are avatars, but they actually reach out to me on LinkedIn afterwards, and they tell me, hey, Niels, I just want to let you know, I'm the vice president of HBO. I'm that guy. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fun, right? It's people within the community. It's filmmakers that are famous that are coming onto our platform just because they want to be part of a democratizing process of filmmaking. And you're spot on. It's never been a better time to develop content. You have tons of distribution opportunities, but it's like, how do we use NFTs? How do we use what we have here? And in order to broaden the ability to get content through a narrow path, because there is still, unfortunately, some big guns with their algorithms that chooses what gets made and what gets monies and what gets budgets and marketing. And that's a key element to this, because if we don't change the distribution, it's not really going to move the world a lot, right? And that's another aspect of this that I think is very exciting.
And to your point as well, with regards to like the memorabilia, that's the amazing thing about like a film. You could do the script, like we just happened to do the IP because we own the IP outright, but you could, the script, the score, minutes in the movie, the best scene in the movie, even the memorabilia. I mean, imagine a situation where you own the NFT for Troy, and you know the top rare NFT gets the helmet, you know, the iconic helmet or the spear or what have you. So there's so much meat on the bone when it comes to NFT in a film. If it's very successful, the more people would want to own that, you know, in their office or as a collectible as time goes on. So there's a lot of meat in the bone with that.
For sure. One last question here, and then I think we got to move on to the next content.
Hey everyone. It seems like there's a good opportunity for episodic and serialized content in the NFT space. Does this create competition for Netflix? If so, please say yes. And what might that look like?
I currently work with Netflix, so I love Netflix. They're so good, man. They're so good. Oh, I love them. Well, the problem with Netflix obviously is it is like a giant bathtub where all content just go into. And if you're a filmmaker like Sandra Bullock, for instance, she just came out with a great movie, you know, it drowns, literally, because, you know, it's just so massive and there's so much of it. And really what gets attention and the marketing dollars is the $160 million Marvel stuff. So to answer your question, yes, 100%. Serial, everything can be happening, but on the distribution side, it's lagging behind a little bit because it's an old model that they're squeezing into new formats of streaming. It's old Hollywood trying to cram their old system onto platforms, and the audiences are resisting it. And I think that's the exciting thing to watch for the next 2 years, how that's going to change, because it will change. And I'll say this, Netflix, I love them, but you know, $20 billion debt financing, it's not hard to make a couple of great movies. I'm sorry, if I had 20 billion, I wouldn't fuck up so much, right? I mean, sorry to be honest, but that's it, you know.
I do want to say there's one thing, there's a misconception where, you know, a lot of the time when we talk about streaming, when we talk about content, you know, we talk about Amazon Prime, we talk about Netflix. There's a lot of other great platforms that are doing great things. There's platforms who, you know, that many people may not know about who really hasn't penetrated this market here. There's even Pluto.tv, for example. They have 55 million daily active users. You know, many people probably has never heard of them, you know. So I think when you even look at the distribution aspect, is not, you know, whatever platform built versus Netflix or Amazon. You know, it's really actually there's billions of people literally that want to watch content and really just kind of fill in that space in different ways.
You know, the innovations that are coming into the space are flooding so fast. It's so hard to even see what the landscape looks like in 6 months. Absolutely. It's so hard to plan a business model that you're saying, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this, because 3 months later, it could be obsolete. Because you get rugged by a smarter, more efficient system or model that comes out. So there's so much coming out with distribution, and, you know, it's flooding into the space, you know. And there's one thing that we're doing, for example, on the Antara movie NFTs, is we're doing yield farming while the production takes place. So that allows people who own the NFTs to make an income from yield farming. So imagine a situation where the studios adopt that, where they make a $100 million movie, where the NFTs are sold, and then people are making 20 or 40% just from yield farming through DeFi. And what a risk mitigation, you know, and this is not just for film, this is in shipbuilding, this is in real estate development. Anything that requires waiting period between, you know, something starting and then waiting for it to take place. So DeFi with NFTs, with an industry, is like a extremely exciting, you know, how all that's going to fall into place together.
Thanks. Yeah, really appreciate it. Everyone give it up.